For the next thing we're going to be making appetizer skewers. Now, you can think of these in terms of deck building because each skewer is going to be a single toothpick with some things on it. Now, you want to have in your repertoire on the skewer a variety of options. You want to have something that might be crunchy, something that is sweet, something that is savory. And you're going to want them all to play well together, but you're also going to want them to stand out and be distinctive. So you can put all sorts of different things on here. Cheese is great. Tomatoes are fantastic. Some red pepper. So you just want to make sure that the things you are putting on hit different categories. So in my case, I'm going to put some apple, a tart apple, some blueberries, some tomatoes, some banana, and some red pepper on my skewers. Now, to join them all together, I'm going to use a sauce. I'm going to make them with a balsamic reduction glaze. So we're going to actually start by getting this going, and then we'll get to assembling the skewers and then put it all together. To make your balsamic reduction, you're going to want to put a small saucepan on over medium heat. To that saucepan, you're going to add 2 cups of balsamic vinegar. Balsamic vinegar, once it reduces, will go down to about 1/4 of its pre-cooking size. So 2 cups will give you approximately 1/2 cup of balsamic reduction. You can probably get away with a significant amount less. Bring your balsamic oil to a boil, or balsamic vinegar to a boil, and then you're going to turn the temperature down. If you're going to cover it to prevent splattering, make sure you leave it so that the lid is not fully attached so that steam can't escape, because we want the liquid to leave our dish. A good balsamic vinegar is going to be plenty sweet and doesn't need anything added to it, but you can add some additional sweetness in the form of honey or brown sugar to give it a little bit more of a molasses flavor. But it doesn't need it. Just have a spoon nearby so that you can stir it as needed. As you can see, my balsamic vinegar is already beginning to boil. Just go ahead and turn the temperature down to a simmer and let it boil away. Come back and stir it every once in a while. While your balsamic vinegar is boiling down, it's time to prep your skewers. In my case, I'm going to cut the top off of my pepper and then make 4 cuts down the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to cut this down into chunks big enough to go on my toothpicks. I'm also going to chop down this apple. Cut an apple, put it so that one of the two ends, whichever end sits a little bit more flat, is face down. Make a single cut down the side of the apple. You now have a flat surface that you can put down on your cutting board. It's much safer to work with a flat surface. Each time you cut a part of the apple off, rotate the apple and cut another section off. Cut the apple down into small wedges that are what you think are the right size to go on your skewers. Finally, I'm going to cut my banana. Banana like this, you need to make sure you use not very long before you're going to serve it, or it will turn brown. You can avoid that, the apple as well, by brushing it with a little bit of lemon juice. Now I'm ready to begin assembling my skewers. I'm going to want a plate to put them on. Each of my ingredients has a different quality. My apples are crunchy and tart. My banana is going to be squishy and sweet. The blueberries are going to be a little bit tart and juicy. My pepper is going to be savory and crunchy. So counterpoint to the apples. And my tomatoes are going to pop with juice. The blueberries will do that a little bit as well, but not nearly so much. In order to assemble my skewers, I'm going to want to pick things with different qualities. So, for example, a squishy thing with two crunchy things on either side. I'm going to take these and simply lay them on my plate. I'm going to continue doing this for all of my objects. Matching things that I think will go well together. You see here, I have a few examples. Go ahead and continue assembling your skewers as you want them. Don't forget to step back and every once in a while stir your balsamic vinegar. Once your vinegar has reduced down a good amount, you can take it off the heat. I'm going to leave mine on just you can see it's sticking to the spoon. It isn't quite as liquid as it was. As it cools, it'll get even thicker. I'm going to leave it on for another minute or two. And then pull it off and let it cool for 15 minutes. Once your balsamic vinegar has reduced down, go ahead and take it by the spoonful and drizzle it over your skewers. There we go. Balsamic skewers. It's now time to get started on layering our lasagna. Go ahead and get everything off the heat and take a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. Get about 1.5 cups of your meat sauce and layer it down in the bottom of the pan. If you think you need more, which I think I do, go ahead and get a little bit of extra. Make sure the very bottom of the pan is totally covered with the meat sauce. Looks like I'm going to use about 2 cups. The meat sauce is what's going to prevent the lasagna from sticking to the bottom of your pan. Once you have the meat sauce in, take your lasagna noodles and lay them down lengthwise in your pan. You're going to use 6 of them. Once you have your lasagna noodles in, take half of the ricotta mixture and layer it on top. Once you have your ricotta down, take a layer of Parmesan cheese, about 1/3 of your not Parmesan, your mozzarella cheese, and lay down a nice layer of mozzarella cheese. Put down more of the meat sauce on this layer. On top of the meat sauce, you're going to put down a 1/4 cup of your grated Parmesan cheese. A little bit more of the meat sauce on top of that. And repeat your layers. Last thing you're going to do with this is top it off with some foil. I'm going to tent it and make sure it's not touching my lasagna. Because if it is, the cheese will burn onto the foil, and I don't want that. I will put it in the oven. You can go in the oven for 25 minutes.